Hi there, Chris here. I wanted to go to the hardware store this morning and pick up some more wire because I sort of tweaked this a little bit. And I've also wanted to put together, this is the UK lockpicker tools, but I wanted to put together one that like Brummie puts together. Eventually I'd like to do the flying, what I call the flying era tensioner. But he has made other ones out of simple things that you can get at the hardware store. Now, this is all Brummie, okay? Just out of the box, this is all Brummie. But before I wanted to get into that, so I went by the hardware store, and they open at 8 on Saturdays, and it was like 10 after 9. There's only 2 cars in front of it, and I thought, well, that's odd, because it's, a lot of people shop there. And the lights weren't on. And so I went up to the door, and evidently one of their employees tested positive for COVID-19. So they've shut the store down so that everybody can be in quarantine and get retested. And the note on the doors explained all that and said that they would be back next Tuesday. This is Saturday morning. So evidently this has been happening for a couple of weeks, or almost 2 weeks now. So one thing, it's a wonderful hardware store. The people who work there are fantastic. The key guys, everybody. They direct you to anything you want. They have great stuff. 99% of the time they have what I need. I went in there and found the key blanks for that Corbin. It's like, how many do you want? Well, I'll take 4. Oh, no problem. Anyway, I wish them all well, whomever did test positive. I hope they're doing well and on the road to recovery. I'm hoping it is, hoping it's one of the younger employees, because they do a bit better than some of the older employees. So anyway, enough said about them, but just my thoughts go out to those people. And also for, being socially conscious, to protect, themselves and their employees, and then all their customers. So, very cool. So I had to go to the second hardware store, which is not really my favorite hardware store. But thank goodness they were there. So I couldn't really they didn't have the little display that we see in this country of all the different pieces of stock, where you can buy the wire, and you can buy the flat stock, and you can buy tube stock, or solid, like brass rod stock. So they didn't have that, but I did want to make up what Brummie has made up. And this is my little version of all the stuff I've learned from Brummie. So what we have here is what I took this was just a carriage bolt, which I cut off the end of with a Dremel. And so it's all thread, and you just cut the head off, and then you could put acorn nuts on the sides, and I dressed it up with a little shrink tube. And I've taken a chub key, I add an extra chub key, and cut it down just like you would, so you have a place for your space for your pick wire. And also, these are the only ones I could find that stuck up, but they seem to work well. Forming this little groove, and I might cut this down just a little bit more, so it sits in that groove a little bit deeper. But this should work. I haven't not even actually tried to pick anything with it. I just finished it, and I was very excited about that. So yeah, this is what this was. Cut that down, and I just used a Dremel with the the little braiding wheel. What are those things? Cut-off wheel. And then I dressed it, you know, cleaned up with a file, and that's what I have. So it does fit in there quite nicely. And I can get this pick wire. Well, actually, I haven't even tried it. But yeah, there's no problem. I can get up and down. Even when I tension, I can get up and down and use this wire. Or I can use the UK wire, I believe. Like I say, you're seeing it the first time I've put this in here. And this is a thicker wire. Can we even see what I'm doing? I'm sorry, it's a little dark in there. But even with the thicker wire, I can get to all the levers. So big shout out to Brummie and his brilliance. And I will go ahead and practice with this. Probably it's not going to take much. I may, before I do anything else, I may back this up and trim that back down just a little bit so my wire will sit a little bit deeper, because it appears that this is a little higher than this flat here. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Very simple to do. I essentially just held the key with vice grips to cut it. I traced out with a little felt marker where I wanted to cut, and I use this little block so that I can brace it depending on what I'm doing. So I don't want to put big marks on this, but essentially you clip that on here, and then you can brace it in here against there, and then use your wheel, because you don't want it. I'm sorry, you can't see that, can you? You don't want this flexing. You want it backed up, and so you have a plane to hold it this way and a plane to hold it that way. It's very simple. It's all done by hand. Now, if you had something might be even a little bit better, one of those little vices that you use for under a milling machine or a drill press would work too. But you don't need complicated tools. You could actually do it with a hacksaw and a file, but it would take quite a bit longer. Easier to do with a Dremel. Anyway, very, very cool. Brummie, you the man. You are so creative and cool. I really want to thank you, and I'm looking forward to trying out my new little tension tool. And other locks that I have that these two Chubb ones are too big or too wide or whatever. I will make some other little tension tips that I can slide in here, because you just back these off, drop it out, put in a new one. Yeah, so very happy to do that. And I'm glad I got off my butt and did it, even though it was very hot out there this morning, even in the morning. But anyway, so thanks for watching. Certainly hit the like and leave a comment, and we will see you next time.